bout number 4. Howell versus Reyes is actually a rematch from MCF 6, where Roman won a split decision. Many people thought Kolby won the fight, but I guess we'll find out.
Both of them are coming out swinging with a lot of intensity and speed. You can tell this is kind of almost a grudge match.
Yeah, it really is. Kolby was very upset. He thought he won the fight, and obviously Roman thought he won the fight. It was obviously close if it goes to a split decision, but they both wanted a rematch, so
there was even some heat in the ring during the announcement between the two gentlemen. They were looking at each other very intently.
They didn't shake hands at the weigh-ins either, so. What makes it tough is Roman's a very, very tough fighter. You know, he's got a lot of heart. So you're not going to catch him in a submission, and he's not going to tap unless he's afraid you're going to break something. He's got a lot of heart.
Both of these guys seem to be fairly humble fighters. I mean, some fighters, they obviously are a fighter. The ego can get you a lot of times, but these two guys seem pretty down to earth in terms of being realistic in their abilities.
They are. They're not arrogant. They're not cocky. They don't like each other. Sometimes that could be confused with ego and arrogance, but not at all. Kolby's actually, since that fight, he's went on a tear and won 3 straight fights. I don't know that Roman's fought since then. If he has, he's fought, outside of MCF, obviously.
These guys are really going face to face with each other, literally, and that they're getting each other's faces.
Well, Roman, part of Roman's is a stand-up fighter. He's a striker. I mean, he can hold his own on the ground. He can definitely defend submissions, but he's a stand-up fighter. Kolby's a ground fighter, but wanted to really put an explanation point on this fight, he said, by, showing off his developed stand-up skills.
Two guys trading knees over in this blue corner right now.
And I think sooner or later somebody's going to land the shot that changes the tide, and that may have been it. That was a big shot. Like I said, Roman is all heart. You're going to have to knock him out.
You could tell a couple of those hits dazed him, but he kept going.
And here we have a very good view of huge knee to the side of Roman's head.
Knee to the right side.
Another big knee. Those are blocked by Roman's forearm. I think Kolby will be happy just punishing him. I mean, obviously he could go for a takedown, but he's happy punishing him at this point.
At this point, Roman just needs to hang on till the buzzer.
That's a very good round. I mean, we knew it would be. We knew there'd be a lot of action in this fight, and that's exactly what we got.
You can tell Roman, he felt some of those hits.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like I said, he's tough, though. I mean, he's not one of those guys in the ring that's going to show that he was rocked or hurt unless he stumbles or falls. That typical Latino chin, he can take a beating. I hate to speak because then when I speak, the opposite happens, but I don't think you're going to see Roman get knocked out. I've seen him take some big shots, and he keeps coming forward. Like I said, I've been made a liar before when I say that, but we'll see what happens. But Kolby doesn't have a lot of power, but he's been landing with pinpoint accuracy.
That's really why so many people are interested in mixed martial arts fighting, though, is because you never do know.
You don't know. There's so many skills that are required for you to compete at a high level. I'm an amateur level. Sometimes you get away with just being a wrestler, or just being a striker. But as you climb the ranks, you need all the skills. Kolby landed a huge shot, but look, Roman right back in it. Like I said, Roman's tough. You are going to have to land the perfect shot to knock him out.
Not only right back in it, but a little smirk on his face. That last one may have drawn some blood.
I've sparred with Roman. He's just, like I said, he's a little wild and out of control, but he reminds me a lot of Leonard Garcia, very good UFC fighter. Sloppy with the stand-up and wild, but man, he's got a chin. You're gonna rock him, and he's gonna keep coming. And I've sparred with Roman in the gym, and that's how he is in the gym. Like I said, Kolby's very good ground game, and he really has shown no desire to take it to the ground. And I really think I haven't seen any attempts at all, or I would say Roman's defending it. But I think he's happy with, he wants to punish him.
It seems, too, that some of the kicks that Howell was throwing in the first round has worn him down a little bit here in the second round. He's not quite as active as he was during that first round. You can definitely see the fatigue setting in.
Well, the one thing a lot of people don't realize that don't train even is to stand and trade with somebody that, to the amount that these guys have just stood and traded blows takes so much out of you that sometimes you can be great condition, but when you're standing toe-to-toe with somebody and you got them rocked and you're trying to finish them off by 10, 12 more punches and they don't go, one, it plays with you mentally, but it also zaps your cardio. It makes it very difficult.
The training these guys undertake to get ready for these fights is extraordinary in itself. And I know a lot of people, you see a fight like this and the first round was hot and it was intense. Second round slows down a little bit, they get disappointed. But like you said, they don't understand the energy level it takes to stand and trade with somebody.
No, it absolutely takes a lot of training. The fight's won in the gym, not in the cage. You got to put in your time, and all these guys do. I mean, this could bode well for Roman as we go, and if we go to the third round, because Kolby looks tired. Usually you can see the labored breathing. He's got his mouth open, taking pretty good gasps. But the other thing is, as they get tired, it's tougher to put on submissions. So I don't know what we're going to see. If Roman goes for a takedown, I'd be surprised. But obviously he's going to try.
If the fight ended now, do you have an idea of who the judges may call for this one?
If I was judging, I'd clearly have it for Kolby. The exchanges in this round alone were all Kolby. First round, you could argue either way, but this round was definitely Kolby's. And you can see by the blood.
Early on into the event tonight, we have 3 of the 4 fights going into third and final rounds.
Yeah, when I put these cards together, you always hope for the best possible fight. You always hope for a knockout, a submission, or a judge decision. You never know what you're going to get. When you match 2 guys up, you think, okay, these 2 guys, this could be great. This could be over in the first round. And then next thing you know, it goes to a judge decision. But I mean, this is pretty much, so far, how these first fights have went, pretty much when I matched them up is what I expected. I mean, without a doubt, the fighters that fight for MCF always show up and put on a show, always. Never had anybody come in and play it safe. They all come in to fight.
Well, as we head into the third round here of the amateur 145-pound bout, we have Kolby Howell from Grand Island by way of Ogallala and Roman Reyes from right here in North Platte as we begin round 3.
Obviously, Roman Reyes is in the black trunks, gold trim. But here we go. This is really, this really will decide it right here. Not sure what instructions Roman's corner gave him, but if he continues to come straight forward and leave his chin out there, Kolby's going to continue to tag it.
The guys taunting each other a little bit in this grudge match.
Little showboat, a little taunting. Kolby wants to fight inside. He wants Roman to come at him, and Roman's not afraid to come at him. Like I said, Roman has got that Latino chin, that Latino heart. You're not going to bully him in there. You might land your shots, but you're not going to bully him. And, with some more of the same that we saw before is really people look at this when they get against the cage and they don't really understand. And it's a chess match. One guy is carrying the other guy's weight. The other guy's trying to work for a takedown, maybe a trip. It's not just 2 guys leaning up against the cage. Roman's corner's telling him to step behind, maybe try to take his back, stand up rear naked, maybe pull him down. I just don't think that's what Roman wants to do, is go to the ground with Kolby, because Kolby's jiu-jitsu is solid. In the last fight when they fought at MCF 6, Kolby pretty much controlled Roman at will on the ground. But sometimes when your game plan, if Roman's game plan was to come out and knock him out, and he's still here, still standing, sometimes that can play with the fighter's head.
When the game plan doesn't work just right, what's plan B?
Well, Mike Tyson, and they're a standing rear naked choke, but Kolby's going to have to pull him down to the ground, take his back. He's got to get a hook in. You're not going to just choke Roman. He's got too much heart. And he's tough, and he'll put his hands up and come right back at you.
Two really tough fighters here, going head to head.
And this is where Kolby wants to, he should be popping out. There you go. I was just going to say, he should be popping out trying to take the back, and there he goes. Kolby's got his back. He wants to make sure he has a hook in so he doesn't lose it. And I would bet you Kolby will be happy to stand there and pound, even though with his jiu-jitsu he may think rear naked choke. I bet you he'll be happy to stand there and punish Roman. Let's see, he may try an arm bar from this point. He'll go with omoplata. He is going to try to work for an omoplata. And this could, Kolby wants to be careful about committing too much to a submission he may not have, because then he's giving up, well, round's over, but then he'd be giving up that dominant position.
Tough fight between two tough competitors.
Here we go, judge's decision.
After 3 rounds of fighting, we go to the judges' scorecard. It is unanimous for our winner, Kolby.
Fight number 5, Bramlage versus Garrick. Both of these guys coming off knockout losses. But I guess we'll see how they've changed their training and or taken training a little more serious. Brad's very, very skilled on the ground, very good jiu-jitsu. He's also very flexible and likes to throw head kicks, so I guess we'll see if he'll, it's usually been kind of his main move was to come in, throw a head kick, set up a takedown, but
Garrick working first with his legs on his opponent's legs, and then the takedown. The takedown's going to score some big points, but these two guys are fierce competitors, and that takedown may not ultimately mean much if this doesn't go to a contest, obviously.
Right. Brad landed some very, very, very good leg kicks. It looked like he may have been trying to set up a head kick or just to see what Bramlage was going to do. That takedown in the judges' eye score is so high that, that could – and Brad's so good on the ground that I really expect him to probably end this with the submission. Bramlage has got to do something. You don't want Brad on your back. Somebody that's pretty much just trained solely ground game. He's way too good at skills. And that rear naked's deep. That's deep. Bramlage isn't getting out of that. And there you go.
Tap out in the first round.
Rear naked choke win for Brad Garrick. don't know a lot about Browder. He trains with Ben Rothwell, who, if you're sitting at home and you watch the UFC or you watch the IFL, you all know who Ben Rothwell is. He's a pretty phenomenal heavyweight himself.
We have Ryan Schenk in the white shorts, and his opponent is in the black shorts. That's Zachary Browder.
Schenk is a solid wrestler, and obviously training with Spencer Fisher, he's going to have good stand-up. Like I said, I really don't know a lot about what Browder's base is. Comes in wearing, Fairtex Thai boxing shorts, would lead you to believe he's a Thai boxer, but I'm pretty sure he probably has a wrestling background as well. Schenk working hard for that single leg and switches legs. But, yeah, Browder's defending well, so he obviously has some pretty solid wrestling background. But
it appears as though they both have a lot of experience on the ground and doing some wrestling. They look like they feel comfortable. And
yeah, Browder was looking for a Kimura, still is. Got a hold of the arm for a Kimura, which is an arm lock submission. Shank's doing a pretty good job of defending it, but you get caught up in the legs there, and he's back out, but he's inside the guard. He wants to, pass the guard would probably be his best bet. Pass it, take side control.
Taking some nasty hits to the head there on the ground.
Yeah, good elbows by Browder from the bottom. Elbows can cut. A lot of guys like to use them to get a cut. Striking, whether it's hands or elbows, a lot of times is used to distract the guy. You don't want to just let a guy lay there and work on stuff, You got to give him something to think about, and that's where the strikes come in play. Even if they don't look like they're doing much damage, they have a purpose.
Well, like we talked about earlier, even the smallest hits will wear a fighter down.
Absolutely.
You cannot let somebody sit there and pound on you.
Absolutely. You got to move, and like I said, and the referees as well will stand guys up quick if there's no action on the ground. So, I mean, if you're a ground fighter and you get somebody down, you want to stay busy. There's Schenk with a nice guard pass. He's in half guard now. He's probably looking to pass to a full mount. Can't really see with them pushed into the cage that way, but he's probably going to work his head up the cage and land some strikes. And I was just going to say Browder's would be wanting to be turned off the cage, but Ryan did a nice job of turning him back into the cage.
With regards to the officials standing them up, do the officials tend to expect more out of professional fighters than they do the amateur fighters? Yeah,
well, I mean, they'll let more go. Shank's taking his back. He's got both hooks in. He's got taking Browder's back, and this is one of those situations where Browder stands up. He's probably going to be in big trouble for that rear naked. But if he continues to stand there like in those points and hold Shank's weight, you're going to muscle fatigue yourself, wear yourself out. But
he's able to pull out of that one without standing up.
Right. These guys are both very evenly matched wrestling-wise. I wasn't sure who'd have the stronger wrestling, but they both very strong wrestlers. They both had very good hips. You could tell from some of the exchanges. But there he's working for the rear naked choke.
A lot of holding exchanges taking place here from one person to the next.
Right. And right there, Shank's got a nice tight rear naked. He doesn't have it finished the way you grab your bicep and finish it, but sometimes you just get that what they like to call the gable grip. It's strong enough to hold a choke. You don't need to finish it off. But Browder, obviously, like I said, he's a very, very good athlete, very good fighter, and he withstood it. And
both of these guys really able to pull loose from those holds, actually pulling those arms out, which
that's just a testament to their skill level. I mean, you're talking about pros, so pros with like Shank's 2-1, so that means he's fought amateur. He has amateur fights, so you're not looking at brand new guys. That these guys know. These guys have been in the gym for a while. They know what they're doing. And when you're training with the two camps that they train with, Schenk with Spencer Fisher, a UFC legend, and Browder with Ben Rothwell, who's an IFL and a UFC fighter. I mean, neither one of these guys is coming from a camp where there's not tough guys in the gym. They're training partners, and not only are they coaches, but their training partners are a bunch of studs. So they see positions like this and situations like this daily in training.
And training with some of those guys, you don't get a lot of leeway in training. I mean, they're taking you to the mat.
the thing about these gyms, these top gyms with the top coaches, Spencer Fisher. Oh, Shank's going for a nice armbar right to the end, but not enough. What I was saying about, you can train with great guys. You can train with the #1 fighter in the world or #1 coach in the world, but it's really the training partners and the other fighters in the gym that make those guys great. You've got to have those kind of guys that test you daily in the gym. A coach can only teach you so much. You need the training partners to take those tools daily and put them into practice.
Barrett Thompson.
It seems like these two guys have had a lot of that training being put in those positions that they feel.
Your opponent is, you train for a certain guy. Shank Browder was a last-minute replacement, just took this fight last week when Ryan Shank's original opponent, Brian Moronic from Colorado, suffered an injury in training. So, Shank might have been preparing for somebody else, and I guarantee you with a coach like Spencer Fisher, he was training for Moronic. So it makes it tough, Now he's got to change it up. I've been preparing for this guy. Now I got this guy, which I know nothing about. And, like I said, Shank's obviously his strength is wrestling. He goes right for that single leg and does a very good job, and he finishes it. But now when he gets on the ground, they're evenly matched. I mean, they both have good hips. They both can, escape easily. They both have about the same level of jiu-jitsu. Shank was putting the submissions on, but Browder was fighting him off. So, they're very, very evenly matched up.
It's really come down so far to a story of getting out of some of those holds on the ground.
Right. I mean, like I said, that's where I was saying earlier about judging. Somebody standing there in a rear naked choke holding this guy, the whole time. Are you scoring him great because he had the guy in a partial rear naked choke or an attempted rear naked choke? But you have to score the guy who defended it the whole time evenly in my eyes. So, I think it's really tough, and then he reverses it, and he's back in on the single leg is Shank. Like I said, these guys are evenly matched. I'm glad I'm not a judge on this fight because I really don't have a clear-cut guy. But with my history and experience, I would say they're giving those takedowns as much strength and power point as you would a knockdown with a punch. And, I don't disagree, but I disagree with in terms of using that such a high point system to say, hey, he took the guy down, he should win the fight. Because what about the guy that when he gets to the ground, what's he doing? He isn't doing a lot, He'll try to pass, but he isn't posturing up to land damage. He's just kind of laying there.
Well, and how many of these fighters know about the takedowns being scored so high?
Well,
how many of them understand that? I mean, obviously they all want to win the fight and they all want to, show their prowess.
Well, like I said, all fighters at the pro level know a takedown, even at the amateur level, know a takedown is huge, score's huge. Because just like a knockdown standing up, everybody's like, you knock somebody down, that could be a 10-8 right there. And the ref stands them up quick. I like that because if they're not really doing anything, that's what Ryan needs when he gets him down to really try to put the exclamation point on it,
Both corners there, after they stood up, were telling their fighters to strike first. Understanding that this may very well come down to taking advantage of a simple opening.
Right, that was a very nice exchange there. Browder threw a very nice combination, but right away, Shank went to his wrestling, popped in for the single leg and took him down. There's a nice sweep, really nice sweep by Browder, but once again, Shank's got good hips too, so he just takes it right back. People that watch this might think, oh, this is boring, they're just on the ground, but it's actually pretty amazing skill being shown with their wrestling ability.
Well, and being able to move up from where he was down on his legs, being able to move up to the midsection there, that takes not only a lot of power, but really a lot of agility in being able to, wiggle your way while somebody's holding you.
Well, you definitely have to know what you're doing. It's all in the hips. Whether you're standing up, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, it's the hips are everything in fighting, and just both these fighters have great hips. You're not going to just, if you're inside a guy's guard, you don't just move a leg out for luck, or because the guy was horrible. You have to soften him up with some punches, get him thinking about those punches, then you can get a leg out. And that's what he was doing there earlier, was hit him in the body a little bit. The guy starts thinking about that, he moves his leg out. But Shank has got, he's probably controlling the fight in the judge's eyes because he's getting the takedowns and he's on top, but he's not doing anything with the takedown. You got to do something with the takedown. in my eyes. Like I said,
Browder's taken a few pretty nasty hits while he's on the ground, but he continues to spin out of these holds.
Yeah, like I said, Browder's obviously very skilled. The big shot knocks out Browder's mouthpiece, and it gets hung in the cage fence. But this is one of those things where, you know, hey, wrestling takedowns are part of the game. If you don't like it, then stop the takedown. You know, people say, oh, this wrestler lays and prays. Well, stop it. It's part of the game. I know for some people it could be boring, but it's part of the game. So the other guy needs to stop the takedown or stop this guy from laying and praying. And right now, you know, Ryan's scoring enough to win.
MMA fighting much more than hits and takedowns. You know, we said this before. It is much of a chess match, and these two here, they've been on a chessboard a few times.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, they're very evenly matched. Shank's just getting that good. He's got, you know, obviously solid wrestling base. He gets in on that single leg pretty easy. When Browder comes in to commit to the heavy exchanges, trying to land the big knockout bomb, you also plant that lead leg. You've got all your weight, or 70% of your weight, on that lead leg. And a good wrestler like Shank, all he has to do is change levels, and he's in on your leg. And he's got that leg, and he's getting the takedown, and it's working.
You know, a lot of ground action seems to have worn both of these fighters out. Both of them on the ground, taking each other down, oftentimes spinning out of those holds. Those takedowns and pulling out of those takedowns really affecting their stamina levels right now.
Right. I mean, obviously these guys are pro fighters. They're both from phenomenal camps, and they're both in phenomenal condition. There's a nice uppercut by Browder, which that's what he needs to do. He needs to come with uppercuts, because every time you throw something straight, you allow the wrestler to get in on you easy.
Browder trying to stay on his feet this time. Doesn't look like he wants to go down to the ground.
Right. And I'm sure Browder's frustrated, you know. Nobody likes to be taken down and laid on. But like I said, you know, you got to stop it. You got to stop the takedowns. That's part of it, like it or not, you know. But I would like to see Shank do something with it when he gets him down. And, you know, to Shank's credit, Browder's not, you know, you can't really judge Browder for not getting a submission. When you got a wrestler on you, wrestlers are a lot stronger and feel very strong than you would probably think, or probably how they look, just with their grip. And it's easy to say, well, why isn't he just getting up, or why isn't he putting a submission? Well, you got a wrestler on you that's very strong. It's not that easy.
Shank's got his feet hooked around.
Yeah, he's got him
in
a figure four. He's got a figure four body lock on him, and he's going for that rear naked choke. And the thing about the figure four is it takes the wind out of you, but all Browder has to do is roll to wherever that foot is, and he did. That's the defense for when somebody figure fours your body. Just roll to that foot, roll to that ankle.
Browder really skilled at the rollouts here.
Well,
We've seen it a number of times tonight.
He's got good hips. He's got good hips. There's no doubt. Like I said, you know, neither one of these guys is a slouch. You know, they're in the gym training every day. They got top camps, and obviously they know their stuff. You know, Shank is trying to work a rear naked choke, but Browder's defending well. Like I said, if you don't understand the jiu-jitsu game, you don't really understand what's going on here. Shank goes for the rear naked, grabs the other arm just to kind of control him, but he's trying to work the rear naked choke, but Browder's defending it well.
Definitely a battle of wills here tonight.
Well, you know, and when Shank moves on, you know, like I said, it's tough to say, well, why isn't he striking? Why isn't he doing this? Well, he trained for another guy, you know, so he expected somebody different. And wrestlers, they wrestle since they're little kids. So they get into these situations, and you can't blame them for doing what they know. It becomes innate. Wrestling becomes innate. It's what they do. You can't take that out of somebody, and it's mixed martial arts, and wrestling is part of it. So.
And no matter how much you train, it often comes down to reaction and, you know, just being able to deal with your opponent.
Exactly. And Browder does a good job. Now, Browder wants to land the knockout because he knows that's what he needs to win, but he's just, that's an illegal kick. He had knees down, but Shank's tough. He'll just say, yeah, I'm good. Give me a minute, and he'll be right back up. I think Browder thought he was standing up on his feet when actually he had his knees down. That's 2 points down. You can't kick a downed opponent. But I think Browder was thinking he was just getting ready to stand up when he threw that kick. It was really, you know, Browder didn't do it on purpose. A lot of these things, you can watch it, a replay, you can watch it in slow motion, and you can think one thing, but it happens in the moment, and it's tough when you're a fighter to just turn that off.
Shank really working to regain composure here after that illegal kick.
Well, he gets his time, so why not take it and get some breath back? I mean, it was a kick, but it wasn't by any means a devastating kick. But hey, this guy's going to take his time and get his breath back if he can.
Doctor's checking him out in the ring right now.
Right.
As we're in a timeout. This will be a good a time as any, Kelly, to talk about another upcoming fight this March.
Yeah.
MCF 9.
Yeah, March 15th we'll have our St. Patty's showdown again. Last time we had 3,000 people come out, which is huge, but we're looking forward to it. The referee restarts the action. We'll see if Browder goes for blood. Browder landed a nice punch there.
He did. He's landed 2 nice rights.
And that's really gonna have to see if Browder thinks he had him hurt. You'll see him go all out, go for blood. Browder don't want anything on the ground. He wants to knock. He knows he needs a knockout to win, so he's gonna go for the knockout. You got Shank continuing to shoot in, change levels, go for the takedown. I mean, Browder really, in order to win, Browder needs the knockout. I mean, he's lost first 2 rounds for sure. I think obviously Shank's probably a kind of a fighter in training, solid wrestler, probably learning to stand up, working on his stand up with Spencer Fisher, but goes to his wrestling to win. I mean, you got to win. And that's the problem with fighting sports. You start losing and nobody's asking to come fight for their event. So sometimes it forces guys to do their wrestling and do whatever it takes to win, even if it's lay and pray. Shank has by no means been laying and praying in this fight, but you will hear people boo or not like it because they really don't understand.
Yeah, it's not exactly a crowd favorite. Meanwhile, these 2 warriors are putting everything they've got into it. Either trying to maintain the hold or turn out of the hold.
It's still part of the game. It's mixed martial arts. It's wrestling, kickboxing, boxing, and jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, if you can do all those, you also have to be able to stop all those. You can't just be one-dimensional in this sport and be any good. And this, I mean, we're going to be looking at a decision, obviously probably unanimous decision for Shank. The takedowns were enough, and he controlled it when he did.
These 2 pro warriors. After the action, we go to the judges' scorecard. A unanimous decision, all scoring 30-27 for your winner, Ryan Shank. Hey Ryan, congratulations on your fight, man. Going into this fight, what were you expecting?
I knew he was real tough. He trained with Rothwell, really good stand-up, strong. Could make it a brawl, and I just had to put it in my field.
You kept taking him down, going to what a little bit of wrestling action. Was that the game plan going into this?
Yeah, he took this on short notice. I had a different opponent. He got hurt. So I had to just go back to what I know best and just grind on him and try to break his will, and I think I did that.
After taking that leg to the head, it dazed you a little bit. Took you a little while to recover. How was it coming back after that hit?
I really knew I just had to get a hold to his legs and try to get my bearings about me. I wasn't gonna stop with 2 minutes left.
Well, congratulations on your win. Anybody you want to thank out there?
Yeah, first I want to thank Kelly Wiseman and Russ Jones for getting me on this card. They didn't have to. Everybody back home in West Virginia, all the people back in Bettendorf, Iowa, Spencer, Bob, just too many people to really thank individually.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Ryan Shank. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Pro Co-main event. Our fighter fighting out of the Twisted Needle red corner stands 6 foot 4 inches, weighing in at 185 pounds with a pro record of 0-0. Representing Premier Combat Center out of Omaha, Nebraska, give it up for Jacquees Williams. His opponent fighting out of the Jones Law Office blue corner, standing 6 foot 3 inches, weighing in at 185 pounds with a pro record of 0-0, representing Team Elite from North Platte, Nebraska, Jason Jensen.
Here we go with the second pro fight, our 10th fight on the card. Both these guys making their professional debuts. Jacquees Williams from Premier Combat Center in Omaha. Jason Jensen, Team Elite, North Platte, Nebraska. Both these guys were in the amateur middleweight 4-man tournament in June. Jacquees won that when his opponent on the other end could not fight due to injury. A lot of people thought that Jason Jensen and Jacquees would be the finals.
Going into this fight, there's really a lot of buzz. This buzz was this fight was creating a lot of local buzz, especially. But
yeah.
I think even outside,
Jason Jensen's, he fought a lot of amateur fights. He's had like 10, 11 amateur fights, as has Jacquees. But Jason's thing is he's never, and I've trained him in the gym. He's got a lot of power and a lot of skill, but he has just never displayed it when he's got in there. If he would uncork and release his power, I think people would be surprised, and he might even be surprised.
is there a little extra pressure on a fighter when they go from amateur fighting, especially when they've got 10 fights under their belt like these guys do, upwards of 10 fights, going into pro, and this being their first pro fight, both of them 0-0 on the pro level? It's got to add a little extra intensity.
Without a doubt, it does. There's no going back. You're pro now. And, in the state of Nebraska, they have some pretty stringent requirements on your record to continue being able to fight in Nebraska. So you have to maintain a winning record after, I believe it's 5 fights. So, where amateurs can just, Jason, nice flying triangle choke. That was very nice. I can't see how tight he's got it, but that was a very nice flying triangle. He's going to want to underhook that leg, but Jacquees has got long legs he can post out. That was very nice. If he finishes this, that's an amazing submission. But Jacquees, like I said, he trains with some of the best at Premier. He's no slouch. He's not going to be caught in an easy submission, but that was a very nice attempt by Jason. And what the advantage that Jacquees has right now is they're in his corner. So they have his corner guys shouting out instruction. I used to always tell my guys when I cornered them was, get them in our corner. Don't go rushing and chasing them down over in their corner. Get them to come to your corner or circle around so that we end up in our corner. And Jacquees stays over there. He'll be able to listen to his corner, and they should be able to tell him exactly what to do. He's got Brian Houston in his corner, who's an MCF vet that's just signed with the UFC. So, these guys over there, and they know what they're talking about too.
What are each of these fighters' specialties? What would they, if they could choose, what style would they be fighting in?
Well, Jason normally, I'd give him more of a ground game, but he has very, very underrated stand-up. He has a lot of power. He just never seems to unleash it in a fight. Jacquees, I would probably say his strength, they're both probably, I would say Jacquees is probably stand-up. Haven't really seen a lot in terms of power. I don't say he doesn't have power. I'm just saying we haven't seen a lot in terms. He did knock his last opponent out at MCF 7, but you never seen him land on the big power shots against Jason in the opening part of this. So I would say his strength stand-up is probably stand-up, but he can do it all. He trains at Premier. But Jason just can't lay there and take these punches. That's enough to get a ref to stop it. Even at a low pro level, they're going to err on the side of caution to protect the fighter. Jason needs to get his guard back, pull Jacquees in, body lock him, and pull him in. They're both 6'4", but Jacquees seems to have longer legs, and that's going to allow him to be able to land strikes inside Jason's guard.
Jacquees has been able to use those extra long legs a number of times in his amateur fights to really turn the tides to him.
Yeah, I mean his body style is similar to John Bones Jones. You know, lean and long. He's got long arms, long legs, and that can be a huge advantage, especially when you're in somebody's guard. The guard normally keeps the guy away from being able to strike you, but when your body's long like Jacquese's, you can still land the strikes. And you know, Jason, he wants to be careful about over. He's going for an arm bar. It looks good, but he's jammed up in the cage. It's going to be hard to finish an arm bar jammed up in the cage.
He's not going to be able to pull it.
He needs to clear out from the cage so that he can get the leverage that he needs on that arm bar.
The crowd seeing that arm bar.
I was going to say, Jacquese will just step over, and if Jason holds on to it too long, Jacquese is going to have his back. Right here, Jason should be throwing the leg over, try the triangle, or get your guard back. There you go, see? Try for the triangle choke.
This is where those fights, that experience really comes in.
Absolutely.
A young fighter may not have been able to get out of that arm bar as easily, even though they were against the cage.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, these two warriors will go to round 2. Jacquese Williams and Jason Jensen. Jason wearing the blue and red shorts, Jacquese wearing the red and black shorts. Both have a pro record of 0-0. So this is really an opportunity for them to start their professional career on the right foot.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jason's coming off a loss, and he really wants to stamp a win. You know, in the pro ranks, yes, he's going to get a win, get him back on track. Jacquese is coming off a win. So, I mean, pro, there's extra stress, there's extra pressure of being a pro fighter. You know, I never want to drop this pro debut, but somebody has to, unfortunately. When you're 0-0, both 0-0, somebody's got to lose. This time, Jason needs to come out and he needs to strike. Jason's got a lot of power, but if you jam yourself up, you need to keep that guy on the end of your punches where your power's at and not get jammed up. Step
Comes
angles.
out with his left foot right away.
Right. You know, and I always told Jason back when he trained with me, you know, he's got very powerful kicks. He needs to set them up and go to the head. But you got to commit. You got to throw 100%. And if I was him, right now I would go for a head kick hard and angle it down. But when you're more worried about getting hit, sometimes it makes it tough to set up your stuff.
You know, in one of the earlier fights tonight, we watched one of the fighters. Every time he would throw a kick, he would let his guard down a little bit. You're seeing in Jason Jensen, and I think it's that veteran attitude where he throws those kicks and he's still protecting himself.
Yeah, there was a perfect example right there. Jason landed a nice power shot and really got Jacquese's attention. And Jason has the power. He just needs to believe in it and have confidence. Obviously, Jacquese has power too. He came back with some nice punches, but he shot for the takedown. So sometimes you'll sit and wonder, did he do that because he felt that power shot and didn't like it, or he controlled him there in the first round? I'll go back to controlling him there as well.
I think they both felt that last exchange. It was pretty intense, and a couple of feet and a couple of hands landed before they went to the ground.
Right. And this one, they really need somebody. Though Jacquese has him down, he's not really doing anything with it. Referee Jordan Johnson, he's a wrestler. He's a former fighter. He'll stand him up quick. That's a very nice sweep. Very nice sweep by Jason Jensen. But, he's got to land those shots. Oh, he's got the rear naked. This could be a huge upset after being dominated for 2 rounds. Huge mistake by Jacquese. Huge. See if Jensen will get the capitalization with the rear naked. That's tough. That's going to be tough.
Jacquese really struggling to get out of this hold.
But he's doing it right. He followed it right. I was going to say he had the arm.
He was able to pull himself out.
Yep. But something like that turns the tide for Jason, in the judge's eyes and in his own confidence level. He almost had the fight finished. He had a very nice sweep.
Not to mention the amount of energy it takes to get out of that hold while still trying to maintain consciousness.
Now Jason's got the triangle again, and he may have Jacquese to be. There it is. He taps it out. Huge win. I think what happened there was Jacquese was tired from fighting the rear.
Give it up for these two pro warriors. Almost halfway through the second round. Winner by tap out, Jason Johnson. Congratulations on your win, man. You are now 1-0, your pro record. How does that feel?
You're gonna have to wait a minute. I'm tired as hell. It feels great, man. I trained so hard for this fight, getting ready for these 5-minute rounds, getting ready for that step up in competition. I don't know, I think I'm ready. What do you think, guys?
Anybody you want to thank real quick, Jason?
First of all the guys at Team Elite, we work our butts off every single day. All the fans are out here. Thank you for coming watching. And whoa, Rush Jones is my one and only sponsor, so thank him.
Give it up for Jason Jensen, ladies and gentlemen.